Okay, good afternoon. Despite the gloom. So in the previous class, we have explored the case law search. Which of the research in case law is important, I suppose, since it is primary source and the United States is on a case law system, common law system. Court precedent is actually law in their cognition. So they find the law in that database, most in principle intuition. So, and the legal research often is on that point of focus. Of course, statute and constitution is controlling their respective matter, and even controlling of case laws. Nonetheless, we have an extensive area of a common law rules, long heritage through the history. So consider, for example, a basic form of a contention in reprieving case. You may encounter in state laws from New York. They actually quite interesting about a parrot. It's a bird, and the bird was domesticated, not wild anymore. You see some quite important rules of law in this area about reprieving. So the property owner of lost property is entitled to recover the lost items. So that is the rule. And in the common law system, that wisdom also sustaining civil code. For example, you have basics about property right class and some legal requirement to delimit the claim about possession, kind of a legal rules would be open to your availability, class instruction or others. So very bottom to be related our basic sense of justice and right. So, how about parrot? The lost item might be an animal in some case. Then we have distinct rule from other tangible goods to others. The animal may be domestic in some circumstances or situation. The animal might be wild. So the American code would have a separate view about dealing with a lost property in this case. If the animal is wild, then natural forest and natural, the rule of natural forest would apply. So the owner of animal would have a qualitative characteristic of a rights. So they have the right to possess the animal, which is wild, of course, upon he controls within his custody or animal. So once the wild animal is released to the nature, then the property owner will lose his ownership right, the pot. So, what makes this rule distinct between animal and other kind of tangible goods, and between the item, the animal which is domesticated and trained, and wild? So the parrot in New York case, which was decided in 1973, 40 years ago, would reveal very interesting point in consideration of a common case, quite insightful to support your case research. It is state case and includes very basic forms in rules of law, animal, tangible goods, and wild, domestic, kind of basic concept would help you to be straightforward about case research. So, how will you deal with this case when you're asked to prepare a case brief? For example, you would be an attorney who now engaged in preparing a brief. So you will refer to the cases. You might lose case. So you now appear the judgment of lower court, and you will encounter many of the terms and jargons now in practice about case brief. For example, plaintiff, defendant, appeal, and on judgment, court, appellant, respondent. The kind of words generally used in your case brief and legal studies would originate from French. So as I introduced initially in this class, the historical perspective would locate you the present situation you are now on. So please make your track through history. So it might get you indigestive if you entirely are ignorant of history. So please facilitate yourself in ignorance. So actually, French word was used officially in the medieval court of Great Britain. Duke Williams conquered the island from French land. He expedited to conquer the land, and the local court system would be managed at the time. So Old England was used in the local court, which is unorganized actually, and the first point of a governance to serve the conquering power would be to nationalize the court system. The common law court need to be centralized, so the law need to be applied commonly as verbatim, commonly across the nation. That is very point of a attribute we often find in the national politics. Common law need to be centralized and under the control of central government. So the common law code has subsidized dual purpose, to serve the rule of monarch. So one is Court of Exchequer. That code is commissioned to raise funds and assets to subsidize them. And the common law code now have to develop uniform rules commonly applied to. So the variance in local custom has been practiced actually very ad hoc about case reason. So no predictability or stability could be what actually enforced. That is a very ancient form of code, and perhaps a diet in locality would govern their specific region in their own interest, so no uniform could be transferred to another region. So very primitive form of feudal society before the conquest of Duke William. So the nation, not exactly nation, of course, the Rose War and the subsequent development of British history ensued as a matter of a nationalization. But the conquest of Duke William is still significant to impose a uniform context of feudal governance in Great Britain. So that is the point, moment to be applicable about the Commonwealth system, and that is also the often considered the beginning period that the Western civilization now approaching. So that is still a vestige in the technical words used in the core system in the United States and Great Britain and other Commonwealth countries. Predictive. That is a very essential word when you engage in case-making research. So you need to prepare case brief in the end for the class purpose. Then class, and you may be asked to present the fact. What is the fact? The surclassing method is quite typical in the law school education of the United States, as you know. So the professor may call you to brief case. So you prepare case notes, case summary, or for some SHIPO students that could be informed case brief. Could be similar to work of lawyers. The appellate brief would be unilateral in the prose. So the argument would be uniquely in favor of the party he now represents in the case. The student brief would differ in some subtlety, since he now needed to know the legal rules and facts. Often they are advised to imagine hypotheticals. The fact pattern is quite dispositive about creation of rules. The judge would focus on facts. They would prefer generally lengthy facts in case, and that basis would enable to shape, create a more definite rules and more adequate rules, and actually in accommodate the sense of justice for a person with common. So that is common law, and could have power to be applied diverse cases. So the theory and kind of wisdom, rule of law, would be included in the case and the language of judges, courts. So we therefore denote the case law. So you may also be in debt to the commercial outlines, for example, case briefs and manual. That is not in that case brief. NOSA would be one summary form of laws to accelerate your achievement in law school studies. And also, Barbie might be heard of that booklet, kind of basic preparation case for the bar examiners. So it includes rules of law for the nation and especially for that specific jurisdiction, the Republic of New York or Republic of California, Republic of the World District. It's commercial as to aid the study preparation for the bar examiners. So that is not a case brief. That would rather be kind of a summary books of American law. The outlines often contain kind of a subtitle, what is adaptable to law, for example, for the criminal law or criminal procedure, adaptable to process, about control, adaptable to sales tax, about constitutional laws. So the commercial outlines would highly be successful to raise, to make the authors earn much more money. So that would often be purchased by law students. So that includes a case brief and typical about legal researcher would be cautious if you wish to cite kind of material, the summary materials, since it often prepared in other purpose, not for legal research. So would be contained in many professional points of research. It basically intended to provide a patient legal rules. So the case brief is usual work if you are an attorney or law student. So most important work common lawyers. So you will be asked to brief that state case from New York. So how do you respond to the question? So you must take a look. In the first place, the title